A real pleasure to have you here with us at the 81st Venice Film Festival. Perhaps by way of introduction, you could, in your own words, describe a bit what audiences can expect when they go into your film, Edge of the Night.
What the film is about, for me, it's a story about a man who gets the mission to bring his own brother to his doom. And then how both of the brothers deal with it, of course. But that's, for me, that's the story.
And maybe you can talk about the initial inspiration of discovering these graves and also finding this central premise of the conflict between these two brothers, why that was the right way to explore the issues you wanted to in the film.
Well, the initial idea, or not even idea, but the starting point maybe, was a news article I read in a newspaper. It was something which happened in the eastern part of Turkey, where angry citizens kicked down tombstones because they thought the people buried there were terrorists. And the mayor of that small city said, we have to be careful because we're about to lose, or we're risking to lose our humanity, and this stuck with me, and I was wondering, wow, okay, all this anger and where does it come? Of course, I understand where it comes from, but it was surprising for me that it's even how do you say, in front of dead people, it doesn't stop, even against a stone, you're angry. And so I wanted to understand this. In a way, you can say the film is a kind of an attempt to understand this. And then it was basically, for me, was clear, okay, I will tell the story, or try to explore this with the story of two brothers. It's a wonderful way to explore conflict. And family is, I realize this more and more myself, is always story has something to do with family. So apparently, I would love to make like a simple love story, I would love to, about the madness and the audacity of love, but I would love to do that. But somehow, even if I start, I come back to family, where there's, of course, also love, a different kind of love, But the interesting thing about family is it's like a double-edged sword. Family is something which can elevate you, and it's something which can destroy you. So this, I think, is really interesting. Just to maybe one step back, I hope that's okay, but to understand why, for me, it was clear I have to do it with two brothers. I think family struggles reflect in a really good way also struggles, the cracks that you have in society.
How does your own personal background, being from Turkey but growing up in Germany, perhaps infuse the story and maybe that feeling of wanting to be accepted, but also feeling like at any moment your right to be there could be revoked? And what was your experience of going back to Turkey to film it as well?
Like I said, I was born in Germany. I lived basically all my life in Germany, but Turkey, I know it from my childhood. We were there every year. Then later, as a young adult or even as a teenager, I discovered the music scene in Istanbul, France. Turkey is really an essential partner for me, 100%. And I feel deeply connected to this country. I feel a lot of love for this country, a lot of frustration also, This story had to take place there because the starting point came from there, but also the polarization. We have to be careful. Also in Germany, it's not something which is limited to Turkey. Also in Germany, you have developments which one has to be careful, I think, with polarization, etc. But I think the contrast you have in Turkey, they are much stronger in Turkey than in Germany, for example. I mean, there are contrasts everywhere. There are contrasts in the UK, in Germany, in Turkey, everywhere. But the contrasts in Turkey are stronger. And I have the impression that the polarization has gotten stronger over the years. So this mistrust, so it was clear it has to be here. For me, while living in Germany, of course, a look from outside. So I guess some things you see clearer from outside, but I would always add some things, of course, you see also better from inside. So I would never tell the people in Turkey, why do you vote for this or that, even if I don't agree, because I don't live there. They live there. They act like that because they understood the world in a certain way, you know, and who am I to tell them it's wrong or right, you know.
In terms of the takeaways from the film, although it's very much rooted in Turkey, you know, there's a universality, or there's a lot that can strike a chord with people in a contemporary society, speak to our current times about, you know, where is this polarization leading us to, and where is this kind of creep away from proper democracy leading us to. So what do you hope that people will both get from having an insight into the specific story, but what maybe more universal messages might there be?
If we succeed, or if they're in one way or another are touched by this story, maybe even have the feeling, wow, okay, this has something to do also with my life. I'm not, now if somebody in the UK says, okay, I'm not Turkish, and I'm for sure not a Turkish soldier in the Turkish army, but somehow I have the feeling this has something to do with my life. That I would hope for. That would be great. If the people are touched in a way and maybe even reflect on their own lives, if they have the feeling, not because that I'm thinking about it now, not myself, not probably because, why would I hope for that? Because it would mean that we somehow succeed in touching something true. You know what I mean? And I think people all over the world, that's the beauty of course, of art in general, but in, of course, films and literature. If you touch something which is true, you have the feeling, wow, okay, this has something to do with my life too. You know, I'm sure you have happened to you that you read a book or a film, you watch a film, and the story is taking place in a different, but somehow you have the feeling, wow, this is talking about my life. You know what I mean? And if something like this happens, if they're touched, wonderful. Because I can relate these two brothers. They grow up in a society which doesn't trust them, or they at least have the feeling. And I wouldn't go so far to say I grew up in a society which doesn't trust me. But there are elements which I can clearly understand. But this is not something only for Germany or Turkey. It's the same thing in France. I think it was Benzema who said, if I win the championship, I'm a Français. If we lose, I'm the Arab, you know? And there was a similar thing. I'm not interested at all in football, but it's interesting that was a similar thing with a Turkish-German football player, Mesut Özil. He won the championship. He was like that. Then he made one mistake, and everybody, wow. And again, I don't necessarily agree with what he did, but suddenly he was okay. He's like the Turk, and this I can reflect, and I think the two brothers, they feel the same way. I don't know, I hope it was not too confusing what I just said, but I can relate to this. Okay, I have to be careful, don't make no mistakes, because it can cost you, and you're no longer welcome here.
And just in a couple of sentences, what does it mean to you to have the film here at Venice Film Festival?
No, for several reasons, it's fantastic. First of all, I try to watch as many films as possible. For me, it's a wonderful occasion. Then I hope it doesn't sound too pretentious, but I feel really at home here because I love film, I love cinema, and here I feel surrounded by people who love cinema. It helps, of course, for the film to be seen. I mean, you've watched it because it's here, right? And so it helps the film to be seen, and hopefully it helps also with the financing of the next project. Man.
Well, that's been wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Congratulations on the film, and really enjoy the rest of the time here in Venice. Thank you.
Thank you.